Hello and good morning to our listeners worldwide and in Ghana. I welcome you to the Father's Day special episode under the YIP Youth Talk Show Season 2. Today we are gathered here just to discuss fathers in the home and community, building values and leadership, and responsible citizenship. As you know, tomorrow is Father's Day. However, Youth Impact Parliament will be sitting tomorrow at 8 SRCJCR to continue the passage of the YIP Campus Club Bill. Therefore, we are using today to discuss the Father's Day and honor our fathers. But before we continue, let's go for a short commercial break.
Are fathers necessary? For all of recorded history, the need to explain why fathers are necessary would have been regarded as, well, unnecessary. It would have been like explaining why water or air is necessary. But we live at a time in which the obvious is routinely denied. There have been articles in the most prestigious journals denying the importance of fathers. The Atlantic magazine, for example, published an article titled, "Are Fathers Necessary? A Paternal Contribution May Not Be as Essential as We Think." The New York Times published a discussion among 5 intellectuals titled, "What Are Fathers For?" One of them, Hannah Rosen, an editor at New York Magazine, opened her response by stating, "I'm not sure whether a child needs a father." I could give dozens of such examples. I'll just give one more. HuffPost published a piece titled, "Fathers Are Not Needed." Fortunately, this dismissal of the importance of fathers is not universal. In a 2008 Father's Day speech a few months before his election as President of the United States, Barack Obama said, "Fathers are critical to the foundation of each family. That they are teachers and coaches, they are mentors and role models, they are examples of success, and they are the men who constantly push us toward it." What makes his comments particularly noteworthy is that Barack Obama grew up without a father. Both boys and girls need fathers. We'll begin with boys. A boy has no built-in understanding about how to be a man, meaning a good and responsible man. Male nature is wild, most obviously regarding sex and violence. If a boy does not have a father who models how a man controls himself, he will most likely not know how to control himself, let alone want to. That's why most males in prison for violent crimes grew up without a father. After days of riots in the UK in 2011, quite like the 2020 riots in America, Christina Adone wrote a column for the London Telegraph, whose title says it all. London Riots, Absent Fathers Have a Lot to Answer For. In the column, she wrote, "The majority of rioters are gang members. Like the overwhelming majority of youth offenders behind bars, these gang members have one thing in common: no father at home." There's no question that many mothers have done an excellent job raising a boy without their son's father, but common sense alone suggests that a mother simply cannot model what a boy should be any more than a man can model to a girl what a woman should be. And then there is the issue of controlling boys and their wild natures. Again, there are mothers who are able to do this, but if a boy is at all difficult, as so many are, as he gets older, most mothers will find it more and more difficult to control their son, because unruly boys listen to their fathers much more than they listen to their mothers, which is precisely why most violent criminals grew up in fatherless homes. They obviously did not listen to their mothers. As regards daughters, the father is the man girls learn to relate to. Without a father to relate to and bond with, there are at least 2 destructive consequences. First, she will not know how to choose a man wisely. She will not know how a man should treat her, and she may well end up with a man who mistreats her. Second, to fulfill her desire to bond with a man, as primally yearning in most women as bonding with a woman is in most men, she will go from man to man. Girls without fathers in their lives are far more likely to be sexually promiscuous and to begin sexual activity at an earlier age, which in turn are reasons many young women are depressed. Few women find sleeping with man after man fulfilling. Most find it ultimately depressing. Finally, fathers give both sons and daughters the thing children need most: a sense of safety and security. As much as children need love, they need a sense of security even more. And in general, moms give love and dads give security. I learned how necessary fathers are, not only by having one and being one, but by the many people, men and women, of all ages, who have told me that they see me as a father figure. I am honored to fill that role. The good news is that many men can fill it: grandfathers, uncles, teachers, mentors, clergy, and yes, even a man on the radio. But some man has to be your father. I'm Dennis Prager.
This video is made possible by a generous donation from the Coutinho family.
And as I've already introduced to you, today we are talking about what? Father's Day. Today is the Father's Day special episode on the YIP Youth Talk Show. Egba, Mbemiado, Jijonamiato. We want to honor them and cherish them, And I not blumber every day kwa Mother's Day dunga. Ke Father's Day bill koga konava na miato no ga he. Elevate ha cause never help bill all of you forget now ga kegba. You just want to discuss the matters surrounding fatherhood. And we are talking especially on the topic fathers in the home and community, building values, leadership, and responsible citizenship. And I'm here in the studio with Charles Adonu, the Youth MP for Whole West in Youth Impacts Parliament and the chairperson for the External Affairs Committee, and as well as Iman Onyante, Afajato South's Youth MP and First Deputy Majority Whip. Gentlemen, how are you doing?
We are fine by God.
Okay. So, when we are talking about Father's Day, what comes into your mind? Let me take Charles first. When we are talking about Father's Day, what comes into your mind?
All right, thank you very much. Good morning. Well, all cherish this Father's Day is just like using or dedicating one day to honor our fathers and to prove to them that indeed they are playing a critical role in everything they do. So some people taking for me, for instance, for 15 years or let me say 13 years now, I've lost my dad. So doesn't mean that there's nobody there who is not taking care of you. Anybody who is there to take care of you or take charge, even if your father is there, that person needs to be recommended. So tomorrow being the Father's Day, I think it is good we put them on board and recognize that all the people, even if the person is a real father or not, let's acknowledge the fact that they are playing a critical role as a father. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes, Mr. Emmanuel.
All right, thank you. And a very good morning to my fellow panelists and also all listeners across the nation. I know as we approach Father's Day tomorrow, the temptation is to talk about celebration and gifts and then appreciation because, being a father is not easy. And today we are here to talk about something much deeper in terms of a father being the foundation of every family. And so I want to use this particular medium once again. A father is not just a provider. A father is a primary architect of what? A child's character. And then we cannot build a strong, disciplined, and a prosperous society if the foundation in our homes are fractured. And so when a father steps up to lead with integrity, responsibility, and love. He isn't just raising a child, and so we should know that he is shaping a future leader. And for that matter, too, also he is trying to be a productive worker and also a responsible citizen. And so I'm incredibly excited for this discussion today because it's a time we remind every man listening of the immense power and responsibility they hold right in their homes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Miafe nyasela o anye etodi nuke ko hiana. Never zu etona mededi. What exactly does society demands from you? Enya o feta membemia adegba. And now coming back to the issue of fatherhood, generally becoming a father is basically being what? The producer of the seed. And in reproduction, that seed becomes a zygote and then turns out to become a baby. That is being biological or being a biological father. We have adopted fathers, we have mentorship fathers, we have political fathers, we have academic fathers, we have papa. Not the church go by papa. That is our spiritual father. There are different types of fathers, but the basic fatherhood is the biological ones or the immediate guardianship. That is what we want to first talk about before we extend to the other segments of fatherhood. Now, we have already explained the kind of fatherhood we are talking about. Let's talk about the home. What is the role of the father in the home? Hello, you are a father to someone. How exactly are you expected to play your role in the house? What are the things that come into play? Let's start from Charles.
All right, thank you very much. Being a father is not just a title, it is about having a responsibility to play. And you must make sure that the thing that you are doing as a father, you impact that child with its value. So it is the responsibility of every father to impact value. When your child is going astray, you need to chastise him to come back to being the right person, maybe the father wants the person to be. Many homes, I would say, they may not be able, or they may not be willing to do the work of a father. But in Ghana, I think we are trying our possible best to put the role of the father in the right track. Because taking my home of where I'm coming from, for instance, my dad, he can use even his eye to whip you when you are going wrong. When there are visitors and you are supposed, or you get close to him, there is a manner at which you are to talk to him that the visitor is not even supposed to hear. All these things, they are training that we actually received from the beginning. Unlike today, that we may not be seeing a lot of things. Most of the children, they will even want to enter their father's eyes to watch everything their father wants or is doing, and it is affecting us. So it is also good that we come back and restructure all our learning process. The father must make sure he teaches his son or the daughter to be the right person he or she wants him to be for him. So the father must make sure that he impacts the right values in the house, values in the community, values in the church. Anything that you would not you as a father you wouldn't do or you not appreciate it, you don't transfer that value to that child. So the best thing you're supposed to do is to make sure you guide the child to doing what is right at the right time. And when the child goes astray, then you bring the child back to track. So I think this is or these are some of the roles the father is supposed to play even in the house. Thank you very much.
Yes. No.
All right. Thank you once again. Now, when we come to fatherhood, you see, I always look at it from a different angle where I would say the home is the first classroom for every child. And when you look at fatherhood, you are more or less like you are the headmaster of the house. That's how I try to look at it, because you see, before you nurture a child, you, the father, you see that the child is having some kind of respect for you. And so that respect comes with a lot of responsibility that you, the father, needs to make sure you inculcate within that particular child. Now, while let's come, if the mother is there without the father, you see that the child will not have that kind of respect. If I say respect, the respect might be there, but once the child hears that daddy is around, you see that he tries to position himself in a way he will not be at fault for his father to correct him. So I would say that fatherhood comes with a lot of responsibility. The responsibility here means that nurturing the child shouldn't be the responsibility of only the mother. So I really appreciate fathers that are actually up and doing, where they make sure that they have a sign, as my colleague rightly said. The looking alone is also a sign. The child knows that if my father looks at me at this when visitors are around, he's indirectly or telling me that what I'm doing is wrong. Now, aside that too, your father will also make sure that he guides you, because he knows you, the child, you are like a mirror. So since you are like a mirror, they don't do what the father tells them to do. They rather reflect what they see the father doing. So you, the father, now you have to make sure that everything you are doing is of the best that the child can actually learn or study. Because kids like this, they are very fast with visual learning than things that maybe you try to dictate to them. If I say dictate, you try to force them to do. So I think that when we come to fatherhood, and when you come to fatherhood in the house, it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot. Because when you look at it, homes that don't have fathers, you see that the children at times, or most often, lack some kind of discipline. Even though the mothers at times they stand into what to perform that role, but fathers does it the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tanya Aglom, for your markle, Charles Willanyaba, na a tall afama, who presence the decranana, the vial, Ubunata menu one and me, sometimes a not blogger, na thought buliko, ka ojedu, and that is the value that the fathership gives. I got bring abu hanga, the program, Mami Gome the Ganami. Now, going on, it seems you guys are failing to talk about the money aspect. The father is the traditional stand and domestic bank for the family. I don't know why, for the last 10 minutes, the two of you have failed to speak about that. Why? Why are you doing us like that? The father being the domestic bank,
Sure.
a bank that does not take back money, a bank that gives money without interest and never chase the debtors or the creditors back. That is a father. I think I watched that picture. In the picture, each of the family members are holding a cardboard. The mother wrote, I think, iPad, the son, iPhone, and then the daughter, iPod, and then the father, his card was, I paid. So let's talk about the financial muscle and then let's say foundation of fatherhood in a nuclear family or extended family. What exactly goes on within the traditional system and Ghanaian system when it comes to fatherhood? Are fathers domestic banks, or in some homes it is a shared responsibility between the mother and the children? Yes.
Thank you very much. I would say that, well, the questions you've asked so far, because we didn't talk about money, it doesn't mean that we were not going to talk about it. You cannot run a house without money. So I would say that the finance part of every home, it is assumed that once you are the mother, or sorry, you are the father, you're supposed to take at least the majority of the finance or the financing. And it is, I wouldn't say it is a bad idea, but then I also look at it as a means of you being indeed the real head of the family. So once you are the father, everyone knows that you are the head. The head does the thinking, the head does the financing, everything that the house needs. So before the child goes to school, the father must make sure there is money for that child. And these are some people or some homes, some fathers, they have investments for all these things. They know that this investment goes to my child's education, this fund goes to my child's health, and this one goes to anything that has to do with the child. So, well, some mothers, I would say they come in sometimes, but the sole responsibility or majority, if I would say 80% lies with the father to take charge of. So the woman comes in as a help when things become difficult. And most people, they have been doing it. In fact, I've been seeing it even in my house. So I know what I'm talking about. Sometimes the man may be down, the woman will take charge of one and two things. But even with that, in other homes that I heard some stories, when the women come on board to help, the man must come back and pay. I hope you understand me. The man must still come back and pay. And well, I will not say that it is a bad idea. It depends on the discussion the man and the woman had before they were able to continue with the transaction or the agreement they had. So the man, a lot goes into it. For you to be a man, a lot goes into it. When I also watched a video, I also watched a video. Then the woman was like, okay, their children were three, and they were asking the children, has dad ever done has dad ever paid your school fees? If dad ever paid your school fees, come forward. And they all came forward. The three of them all came forward. And the woman asked again, if you know that have been sending you to malls or anything that has to do with outing, come forward. Still, the three children came forward. This alone shows that if you are a man, you have a lot of responsibility to take charge. So I would say that going forward, we need to educate, or we need education. We the young ones, we need education on how we can manage the financing part of our homes. And the adults who are the ones who are already married and they are doing well, they can also be teaching with the children, or we the growing ups, that this is how we run the affairs, this and this. When you're able to send this one plus one should give you two. But make sure that your two minus two shouldn't give you zero, because once you have zero in the house, there's going to be a problem. But you need to make sure you manage everything, that even if there's a minus, there need to be something, a backup, to push you to make sure you regain, and that negative becomes a positive at all costs. So the financing or the support part, every man, every household, or every father, they are doing well. And I commend a lot of people. As time goes on, I know very well you give us the chance to wish some of the fathers. So I'll rest here for now and give to Honorable to also.
Yes, thank you. Ganyao, middle Ganyao, bro.
Sure. Yes, thank you very much. It's not that we have actually lifted the financing aspect from fatherhood. We know that that is even the core mandate, because in every family without the finances, you see that one, there wouldn't be anything like discipline. Two, the trust wouldn't be there. Three, you, the father, that respect they are supposed to give to you in a family, you will not be able to achieve it. And so when you come to a family structure, you see that we have the active and then consistent financial support from the father. He makes sure that he provides the fundamental finances that a family should have before, even if the mother will step in, she will do. Because I've got to realize that a home, I've been able to compare two homes where one home you see that the father is up and doing, the other also is willing but not having and trying. So you could see that these two homes, the children, you see some difference where there will be something like a psychological safety, and then it will reduce anxiety. If I say psychological safety and then reduces anxiety, you could see that when the father ensures that basic needs such as the housing, food, healthcare, and education are consistently met, it creates a powerful sense of what? Emotional security. Because the family, in terms of the both the mother, the children, they will feel that, oh yes, my husband is actually up and doing. And so there shouldn't be anything of maybe we trying to compare ourselves to so and so and all those stuff. And when it comes to the children under that particular level, you see that the children growing up in a financially stable environment lowers chronic stress. There wouldn't be anything like stress, they will have that freeness and all those stuff. But when it comes to the spouse too, you see that they share that primary financial support that reduces the immense mental burden of what survivor. So you see that here, the mother knows that the father actually is doing the maximum best. And so even when it comes to a time that the father is not having, as my honorable rightly said, the mother or the woman rightly also comes in. So you see that it will be very difficult for you to see when they are not having and when they are having. Uh-huh. And so, aside that, you could see that it will enhance the academics and then the future opportunities for both the children and the spouse. So you see, the father actually here, once you are financially stable, see, your family will go a long way, because there wouldn't be anything like they lack this, they do that. And I mean, as my honorable rightly said, they go to school, you will ask, and how many outings have you gone through and all those stuff. You see, that comparison wouldn't be there, because there's a very vast gap, a very vast difference between those that are actually up and doing and those that are trying to also make sure they catch up. So on this note, I think I will end here. Moving forward, we can add more. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Enyao, nafe panelist ogo dwamina be ganyao ya etonya nyama ti asi tutubo. Ela bena na ewunchu egalashiwa etin wo family fe nya ogbotpoge ofe bills o mi ahia wa ti aflo katana o akana mala so afima netamo bugala. Now, going on, the issue of pampering comes in place. It appears in cultivating the values and providing for the family. When the father appears to do too much of each of them, the children end up getting spoiled. In most occasions, these are the babies that we are talking about. Everything they want, they provide. Everything they want, they provide. Then they become spoiled. Is there anything to say about that? And also to take note, is there an expected uh, contribution from motherhood to support the father figure? Because in most cases, when the father is out there providing and ensuring the bills are paid, he ends up spending less time with the children, and the children don't get to see. They are not even conscious enough to know the bills are paid by the father. It is mostly the mother that they interact with, and sometimes this causes problems. So these are two questions I pose: the spoiling of the child through over providing, and then the image of the father getting lost due to the struggle to pay the bills and ends up not really spending time with the children. Yes, Charles.
All right, thank you very much. Talking about pampering, you know, every child will love to be pampered. And every father would also like to pamper his or her own child. Look, the fact that the fact that you are a father doesn't mean that you need to over pamper your child. In my house, we don't get pampered. Who are you? Who are you? So the level of discipline is already there. It doesn't mean that our parents they don't joke with us. We don't have a good time to chat. We have been doing all those things, but it doesn't go the extra mile where the child will feel bossed that oh, even if I didn't do this and this and this and this. No, it has not gotten to that side. I know one big man that goes around telling the people around that look, because I am a big man doesn't mean that when you see my child, the respect I have, you give it to my child and make that child to suffer. Because why am I trying to say this? Let me take this for instance, meaning that you can go for a program, and because your father is big, you would like to, everyone would like to be around the child. Oh, let me do this, let me buy this child this and this to gain favor from the big man. But this man said, no, I don't want that. If you are going and you see that my son has insulted someone, you, the one who is within that vicinity, make sure you discipline my own child. And if you're not able to discipline that child, then the best thing you can do is to come and report to me. That I will discipline the child. You see, when meaning that the father already has laid the foundation that the child cannot be over pampered. Because if you insult anyone, anyone around that environment can discipline you. They can whip you, or they can anything in the form of discipline. So it is not right that we over pamper our children. People going about buying a lot of expensive things for their children, and these children, the fact is that sometimes they go to their neighborhood or their classrooms to undermine the other people or the other colleagues or students who are less privileged. Do you understand me? The students who are less privileged, the these big men, their children undermines them because they feel that no, my father is doing more than your father, and that is where the comparison also comes in. But when you lay this foundation, like I laid about this big man, that you can discipline my child, when this thing is there like that, I am sure that some of these things will not be happening. Where some child will have to be going and be telling their colleagues that my father is richer than your father. My father buys me this. What can your father also afford? It raised a lot of alarm. And at the end of the day, you realize that the child who is less privileged now tries to find ways and means to get that which the big man's son or daughter has been saying. And that leads to a lot of social vices. It could lead to theft. Because my father is not able to give me, I must find a different way to make sure I get it, to now also fall in line with what that big man's son or daughter has been doing. And that is the reason why most of the things we are seeing in our environment today, they are uncalled for. People who hold expensive things in their hands, wear expensive clothes, but when you go back to their homes where they are coming from, you realize that this guy is not even coming from anywhere before. Pretense is everywhere.
Fake it till you make it.
You understand? False identity is everywhere. And this is not only the responsibility of the father. The mother also needs to come in and help the process. Because one, it is believed that men they don't stay in the house. But the woman, your work is also to have a level of maturity in the house. And if your father, if the man or your husband is not in the house, you have now become the second in command of the house. So, people will not say that you be doing this. If your father come, then you come and see. No, it shouldn't be like that. If the child is wrong, make sure you go with the father and tell him that, hey, because your father is not here, irrespective, I'll discipline you, and you must come under my subjection. So when all these things are being put in place, you see that some of the children will not feel over pampered.
Well, coming to the balancing of roles between the father and the mother, at every point in time, the complement is that one must be that of a hard figure and one must be a soft figure. The hard figure usually helps in disciplinarship, and then the soft figure helps in comfort and raising the child. Because if both parents are hard, the children have nowhere to escape to. If both parents are soft, the children basically cannot be disciplined by any of them.
No,
So one has to perform one role, and in most cases, it is the father that has to become the disciplinarian. That is why they talk about
that is a problem. And that is a problem. What if that father has traveled for more than a month?
Yeah,
Meaning, for that whole month, the child will be misbehaving.
yeah, yeah.
You understand me? That is why I am saying that the woman now becomes the second in command of the house. So if the man is in the house and the woman is in the house, hey, I live in some house, one house I live in. If the child is wrong, the man says, hey. The woman also says, hey. You understand? So that, like what you are saying, that the one must be hard and one must be soft. No, we don't do it like that. In Ghana, we are in Ghana. If it is outside, they have their own ways of training their own children. But we are in Ghana, and in fact, Africa at large. So if the child is wrong, tell the child you are wrong. Don't tell the child that in front of the man. The woman shouldn't tell the child in front of the man that, oh, that you are overcrossing your boundary. Meaning that the child is now going to have some level of energy that, no, I can cross my boundary, and if my father comes in, my mother will now take charge to defend me. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
When you discipline the child as such, and you go back to your rooms, you can now go and tell the man can tell the woman that, oh, you've overcrossed your boundary. The woman also tell the man that, oh, you have overcrossed the boundary. Next time, let's do this, but not in front of the child. Hope you understand me. So we shouldn't make the children feel over pampered. That no, this person should. We shouldn't make one party look bad in front of the child. That's what I'm trying to. That's where I'm going. You understand? So let's desist from over pampering. You can pamper your child, laugh together. You can go out. You can go for your outing, spend a lot of time outside, but it shouldn't be too much. Too much. It shouldn't be too much. So this is the little I have on this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel.
Very interesting. All right, so thank you. Now, looking at it from the other aspect where we talk about pampering, you see, I think pampering is something that we can equally try to regulate. We can equally try to regulate when the both party, both the mother and the father, at least come, because you see, bringing out a child is just like we are nurturing the child. And so in nurturing the child, we nurture the child according to the way we also think that, well, this is the best way a child should be nurtured. So first of all, the two parties need to sit down. Fine, this and that and that. Now once the child is up, we will try and make sure we let the child follow those principles. Now, aside those principles, we make it known to the extent that once the father is not around, the mother can equally take that responsibility, as my honorable also just said. Because when you over pamper your child, it goes a long way to affect the child, because wherever the child finds him or herself, he or she will be willing to have that same treatment wherever he finds himself. But this is Africa, and for that matter, Ghana. You can't get that same treatment wherever you go. It is only maybe at home. So I think that pampering is something that, well, we can equally give out, but too much of it will go a long way to affect uh, the family. Now, when we talk of the father not being available, and based on or due to his busy schedules, business wise, and all those stuff, you see, that has actually come a long way to make some children to lose that fatherly love and also to miss that fatherly control. So everything is based on the mother. And once you get to a certain point, the mother too will be fed up. If I say fed up, it will be in a way that you keep on doing it. That. When your father come, I will report you. And the father will come maybe 2 months, 3 months time back from work and all those stuff. So you see that the father is not having that kind of fatherly care for the child. So in order for fathers to make sure that that kind of gap shouldn't be there, is you have to make sure you reach out to the child whenever you are around. Make sure all those discipline, all those guidance that you're supposed to give to the child, you have to make sure you guide the child. You don't have to dictate. We are humans, and once you dictate, and it gets to a point, I've gotten to realize that this one is too much. Oh, this, that. You, the father, there are some things that even if the child wants to share, the child will not come to you. If you want to be a father where or whom a child can come close to you and share maybe his uh his challenges. Because you see, there is this trend that they do say, girl child likes or loves their father, and then boy child loves their mother. You see that kind of this thing. So when it happens that way, that girl child will like to at least share most of those experiences or maybe some challenges with you. But because of the way you have always been detective and always been too strict and all those stuff, it will make the child not to share all those stuff with you. And at the end of the day, it will go a long way also to make sure the home will not actually be fixed. So I think fatherhood and the father responsibility is something that is more broad, and then those that are on, we will appreciate them for the good work done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So to me, I think mimba etonyenya, of course, I am na play with a role. You have to be strict sometimes when you are doing your job. Gaka naga with too much maganyuna, and ne enwadna kwedbla ela bena when you spare the child, is it what? Yes, when you spare the rod, you spoil the child. Exactly. So no nyad black kwedbla I am na dem ene, so that one bad black. And secondly, na 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 obajoba umeli abe to ahem na nya enwane na odoya womanele, because na for a long time ya umele dwamola ever affect na your unavailability brings a vacuum. Yeta olebe hame no hane play role man internet, but so that the viewer will have a balance of each. And this is the matter that even brings the issue of single fathering and single mothering. Abeleke, man of a child's player, he lost his father at a young age, so it means he has been the mother that has been performing both roles. And luckily, he's still groomed to be a fine man. And there are some people or children who have lost their mothers, and he has been the father playing both roles, both acting as a mother and acting as a father. And to them, we wish them a happy Father's Day. Now, let's move on to a few segments before we come to the other parts of the show. We stated that it's not only biological fathers that we have guardian fathership. Of course, when your father is not around or dead, an uncle or auntie or maybe a stepfather plays the role of guardianship. Or you are not staying with your parents, so whoever you are staying with becomes your guardian. We also have what? Spiritual fathers, hello. I'm a papa. When you are in church, you call the pastors and reverends papas. They also have a role to play in building values. That is why they do the preaching and encourage to ensure that there is at least a level of knowledge with respect to managing homes. They have a role to play. And now, when we go to political fathership, okay, before I'll go there, let me come to mentorship. Mentorship, and who? People who you want to be like, that they become your mentors. In extenso, you tend to call them fathers. Your mentors, you tend to call them fathers because at the end of the day, from constant conversations, they get to groom you as well. Now, going to political fathership. When it comes to political fathership, those are the politicians and state officers that you aspire to be like, and then those kind of people, in most cases, they have financial influence on you as well, because they have to support you financially in your dreams. You want to contest for this, you have to call on your political father and then staffs. In lobbying for positions and staffs, these are the godfathers. They have a role to play. Uh, my panelists will not talk on these ones. Let me go straight to the last one, who is the father of the land. In the three segments of governorship, Ghana, we call our president the father of the land, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. And then the regional ministers become regional fathers. The MCs, DCs become what? Local government fathers. And then the traditional fathers are the traditional authorities. Togbe, Mamao, Ohini, of course. And then all different tribes. And all of them have a role to play. Fathership becomes symbolic if authority is established without presence. That is where it mostly becomes symbolic. But in realistic or realistically, fathership is mostly beyond just mere presence. Inspiration, inspiring your children. I think once in a blue moon, when you ask a group of students who they want to become like, there'll be one person who'll be like, I want to be like my father when I grow up. We don't hear that often, but they will come and say they want to be like my father when I grow up. Now, to Charles, what impact does positive fatherhood have on reducing social vices among the youth? What impact does positive fatherhood have on reducing social vices among the youth?
All right, thank you very much. The impact of
Fatherhood,
fatherhood.
positive fatherhood on reducing social vices among the youth. If fathership is done well, would it reduce social vices, the thieveries, the drug abuse, and then the bad attitude being displayed? If fatherhood is done right, will those things be happening?
Right, thank you very much. Ube leve gumebe etara bladi afema ochuna. I hope you've heard it before. Okay, so what am I trying to say? The positive fatherhood. No, fatherhood is actually like a responsibility you are playing. The fatherhood is a responsibility. So if your responsibility now becomes a positive one, it will will I say no, I don't want to mention the word. Okay. What it does is that it instills some discipline in the child. When your father is smoking, you know that for sure the child also begins to smoke. When the father is drinking and the child is seeing the father, automatically the child also begins to practice all those things. But right now we are talking about the positive one. We need to know that the social vices, they don't just come. It starts from somewhere. When a father is beating the mother, the child is learning something from the father. And when the father is always quarreling with the mother, the child is also learning from that same incident. When you are stealing as a father, or you the parents, you are being recorded, or you have a record or track record of thief or theft, the child, all those things, it sinks into the child's mind. But what are we trying to say? We are trying to say that the responsibility, or the fatherhood, which is a responsibility, we need to take charge of it and make sure that we don't do a lot of things we have been doing for the children to be seen. In every house or in every household, the mother and the father, they can have their quarrels, but it shouldn't be in front of the child. You can have it at a closet, because once the child begins to see all those things, their reasoning becomes different. Hope you understand me. Their reasoning becomes different. So what I will say is that, look, the fatherhood is a responsibility. Like I will say, let us not transfer whatever we are doing in the house into the children. And because we didn't transfer all those things we are doing in the house into the children, don't allow your child, as a father, don't allow your child to also bring anything which is outside the house into your home. The child going out to bring a pen you didn't buy for him or her, the child comes back from school bringing some books you didn't buy for him or her. Hey, you begin to question the child as soon as possible. Where did you get this from? Did you know what you did? It is called stealing. I want you to go and return this tomorrow morning. If you didn't return it, I'm coming back to your campus, or I'm coming with you, and I will make sure they discipline you in front of the whole school.
What if it was government that gave it to them?
That one, the child will tell you that no, my teacher gave it to me. But there are so many instances where you can open the back of any child and realize, oh, this thing, I'm not the one that bought this thing for my child. When you question a child, he will tell you that, oh, a friend of mine left it here, and there. When you investigate, you realize that, hey, the thing, your child even picked it. So in the house, we need to train our children not to do some of the things. And we need to also, as a father, you need to also make sure that your child didn't bring anything outside which doesn't put your reputation as a father online into your home. So we need to check all these things. And once we check it, I believe that the responsibility of a father will now be playing bit by bit. It's not going to take one day to change everything, but at least it will help reduce a lot of bad social vices that is supposed to come to your home. You understand me? So in my house, when I was a child, when they ask you question, this and this, who did this? This thing, my mom, this is not what my mom has bought for you. My daddy didn't buy this for you. Where did you get it from? You know, the questions they will ask you, you yourself, you will be confused. The next time you go to school, or you come out, you leave the house to the house. Okay, you leave town to the house. You know that you will be asked a lot of questions. And in fact, you yourself, you know that once those questions are being asked, you will be found guilty. You wouldn't repeat all those things you have been doing, all those social vices, the next time. I hope you understand me. So the stealing. When you are stealing something from town and you are being disciplined in the house, tomorrow you will not do it again.
Mm-hmm.
You understand me? When you go out and come to the house with alcohol, fully drunk, and your feet cannot even hold you, you can't even play that because your dad has never practiced that. The first question he'll ask you is, hey, where did you learn this from? Have you ever seen me smoking? Have you ever seen me drunk? These are some of the values fathers pass to their children. The next time you will do this, I'll do this and this and this to you, or I'll withhold some of the things I am supposed to do as a father. I'll withhold it from you. And you, the child, you wouldn't. Your father says, "I'll pay your school fees for you," and you go astray or you go wayward, and your father says, "I'll withhold your school fees." And frankly speaking, your father has withheld your school fees for at least 3, or let me say for almost getting to a semester. You're not paying your school fees. You will reason. You will reason. And you will come back and say, "Oh, that this what I did is not right." But if all those things are not being put in place, it is going to make the work very difficult, even for the father and even for the child. So we must make sure, as we the youth, we learn from our fathers. We need to pick out the positive one as youth. Youth, we always say, like me, they said we are the future leaders of tomorrow. But tomorrow, I tell you, tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow never comes. Because when you enter tomorrow, there's another tomorrow for you. We, the youth, we are the future leaders from today. So we need to learn some of these things from all the people we have, whether it is your political father. If you've never seen your political father drunk before, doing things recklessly, you're not even, you can't even ring your mind to go and do that. Or your mentor. Your mentor is such a polite person who is doing this, a very disciplined one, of course. You want that person to be your mentor. So you are going to be in line with that person. So we, the youth, we need to learn from all these people. And if we find it difficult for ourselves that we want to do something, we can just approach them and seek for guidance. We want to do this. This is what is going to happen. We need guidance. What are we supposed to do? Okay. Then the mentor will now come in, or your father will come in and say, "Okay, if you hold this at the left hand side, it will fall. You try the right one." All these things, these are values that your father is impacting into you. So we, the youth, we need to also pick up some of the things we need to learn fast. And peer pressure, we should reduce it. Some peers will go the long way to affect you badly. But you, the one they are influencing, what is your take? What is your take on that? When you wait, obe kwa peke mecho, happy na nona kuwa. The person who is influencing you has a backing, but you, the one being influenced, you don't have a backing. When something happens right now, that person will leave you. I saw something on social media, one of the one WhatsApp. They said, if something happened to you right now, can your family raise about 20,000 Ghana cedis to help you? If your family cannot raise about 20,000 Ghana cedis to help you, then you need to advise yourself. That person, within 6 hours or 1 hour, 20,000 is money. One is no money. One person can just raise that, and even more than that, more than the 20,000. But you and I, we know where you're coming from. So we need to check all these things as you, and know that the responsibilities of a father that they are transferring to us, they shouldn't be of waste, but we need to learn from it. And with that, I know and believe that we, the youth, as we are growing, we are going to pick a lot of things, and we are going to impact that which we learn today into the next generation that will take over from us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I wouldn't pose the same question to Mr. Emmanuel. Mr. Emmanuel's question is, do you think the community and the government is supporting fatherhood enough as compared to motherhood? That's the question to you, Emmanuel.
All right. Thank you very much. I think, yes, the community really gives that kind of opportunity to fathers, as compared to mothers as well. I think that's the question, right?
Yes, do you think communities are supporting fatherhood enough?
Yes. All right. So, community indeed are supporting fatherhood, because when you look at the um, our elders, in terms of our chiefs, and then the elders and community members. They actually give the role to fathers because they give them the share of that the share of they having that responsibility, the share of they having or they being the head of the family, and also they having the maximum strength for each and every family. That is the reason why if a family should have a problem, the father needs to make sure he is present to at least make sure he see to that solution of the problem. So the same way when we come to the traditional leaders as well, they being the head of most of the communities, they are playing the role of fatherhood. They make sure that each and every community member is following the line of each and every ethnic group. For instance, if you come to maybe Volta region or you go to Oti region, each and every ethnic group have their way of making sure that a father is able to what take his children through that particular line of what discipline. Because at the end of the day, if a community have sight that okay, when it is 6 o'clock, we don't want to see our younger children maybe living in a town, or we don't want to see them, the young girls in town and all those stuff. So it is the responsibility that the community leaders have assigned or have given to you, the father, to make sure that such discipline or such responsibility is well exhibited. And then aside that too, the community leaders to help to make sure that the taking the responsibilities in various families or homes are well and easy to what to take in. Because this happens when a father there's an issue. I think the other day a father was indoor, and then the landlord was approaching the house. And what the father told the child was that when the landlord come, tell the landlord I am not around. And for the child also having that childish mentality, once the landlord came and then asked of the father, and then he also said, my father said I should tell you he's not around. So even there, you, the father, that you are educating the child on honesty. Over there, you are not trying to what? Teach that child the honesty. You are trying to even tell the child the other way around, telling the child, okay, this is something that we need to be doing. And you know, children, they are very fast in learning what you do than what you tell them. So they study your pattern. That's the reason why you could see that me, I am like my father. I do like my father. I do like this. I do like that. And so I have to say that when you come to the a community, father, they play a major responsibility, and for that matter, the community as a whole, and then the elders, the chiefs, also help each family, the family head, to also make sure they play their role well. And so that incident that happened right now, the child will go and be like, so why is that my father wants me to tell a lie? Whilst you are even telling the child not to lie, telling the child not to do certain things, but you are even trying to tell the child to tell someone you are not around whilst you are around. So the child here now has also said what you are, yes. And so at the end of the day, you really don't have that responsibility to come and be telling the child, why did you tell the landlord this is what I told you? So at the end of the day, the structure that each and every community needs to follow, that is what at least some of the families should also have the guidance to what to stand on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tanya, my panelists would be evihehe la fema ele important ela bene hevinira ma ihihe aba no ndeglo mo ano no fi nkrito enenya ya no vi man not bolanya be member community fatherhood han supporting mela be be fatherhood than you ela bena edoma ele bebe de pa likely community head anto ha father onye ta banya catholic father oro onye father ola formata. By all means,
Yeah, thank you very much, cherished listeners. Yeah, this is a special edition for our fathers in commemoration of the Father's Day. celebration. Yeah, it's an event celebrated every year. Mother's Day is celebrated. Father's Day is also celebrated. Even though the Father's Day don't get that kind of fame or enthusiasm as we do for our mothers, but still, the fathers still stand tall. The fathers are the silent killers of the family. They don't talk much, but they put in more action. Yeah. So in that regard, I just want to wish fathers, all fathers, a very special day. You may not be celebrated as the mothers, your wives, but don't bore. That is part of the game. Yeah. So to all fathers, I wish you a special day. Yeah, from YIP Fraternity, we wish all fathers. We wish all youth MPs a happy Father's Day. Yes, it's such a moment to celebrate our fathers. And without our fathers, fathers are the foundation of our families. Just like buildings have foundations before blocks are laid, the fathers are the foundation of our families. So we have to give them our maximum respect, regardless they are not celebrated. Yes, we give all shout outs to our fathers. Yes. So with my biggest shout outs, I'll give it to my dad, Mr. Paul Derek Kwagbela, the one who laid down the foundation stone for me. Yes, I'm beginning to be someone that I'm very happy to be. Yes, and he is the one that laid down the foundation for me to be enjoying today. Daddy, I say I wish you a very great day. Yeah, happy Father's Day to you, Daddy. Without you, I don't know if I'll be feeling these kind of moments now. But I say thank you very much, Daddy. I'm very, very grateful. YIP is grateful, and we wish you all the best of your Father's Day. Enjoy the day with that silence, but just know that you are being loved because you laid that the foundation stone. Thank you very much.
We are approaching the end of the program, however. Before we get to the final topics, there are some important things to consider. And the issues to consider are with respect to economic pressures, work-life balance, technology, and social media, changing family structures. As you know, in the traditional Ghanaian structure, I think the nuclear family is becoming a thing. And gone were the days we started with extended family, but now it's becoming nuclear family. And as you know, should it be extended family, it means the bills are going to become more. The more the people, the more the bills. Unfortunately, not all beneficiaries of a father's sweat ask where he gets the money from. Ni akonya konya ba edo ega kogeba enuna no amono du amono mlan na karinya chiko father gari water is not coming father gari and do mela fam odomya. Scarcely do they ask where the money comes from. A man would go and hustle just to feed his family, and some of them even die from the hustle. They overwork to death. Sometimes, they will say, "No, no, no, theater." Okay, menyabe na mere ya oge fifianu nugaba. No, half with them na yo. Now, Bafamako, he can't have a peace of mind. Manyaba Nyama.blogger. Tamaraku Father's Day, we are calling on all mothers to at least buy a gift to appreciate your lovely husband.
Sure.
Because every day he struggles to provide for the family. We are humbly calling on all mothers, please take your husband out tomorrow. Take your husband out. Nagamala Shori, you know, never go Gavagona to nobody. If you are Koko Yashima, Etona Koyi out. After that, you come and pay him back.
What you have done, you spot the whole.
Oh, no, you can refer it to me. Yes, Charles. Yes, yeah. Although we haven't ended the show yet, we want to make the humble appeal right now to all mothers. In fact, if you are a listening child, at least take your father out.
Sure.
You don't have to wait for your mother to do that. Or Come on, surprise your father not only on his birthday. Actually, men don't even like celebrating their birthdays, to be honest with you. So that is why Father's Day, try and do something. Our fathers struggle. It is not easy being a father. And if we want to zoom in and meditate right now on the sacrifice our fathers have done, just give him, oh, Papa, sacrifice came on Amia. 1 hour lecture. Egbogana, 1 hour Kagomala. 3 hours, 5 hours. He's going to lecture you on the sacrifices he has done. He is going to lecture you on the sacrifices he has done. So it is important that we celebrate this day. On most occasions, Mother's Day overshadows Father's Day. It has been a talk. So at least please appreciate our fathers and the single mothers too. Today or tomorrow, they are fatherly figures. Let's appreciate them. Now, moving on to continue the program, the questions I want to pose to our panelists as they prepare to give their closing remarks is talking about the fact that fathers shape values, fathers inspire leadership, fathers nurture responsible citizenship, fathers strengthen communities. Because in most communities, it is fathers that are leading it.
Yeah.
The community head is mostly a father. Is mostly a father. Now, I will now call on our panelists to give their closing remarks and as well add their shoutouts and all it is to add. Let's start from Charles.
All right. Thank you very much. What I will say is that, like you rightly said, Father's Day, it is not something that that flows or goes viral like Mother's Day. But the best thing we can do is that the least we can do, the least we can do to appreciate anyone who is playing a vital role or a pivotal role in your life, do it for that person. The first, God is our first father. God is our first father. So tomorrow doesn't mean that always we don't say thank you, Father. But tomorrow, dedicate at least 1 minute and say, God, thank you for being my father. Then you come to the society or those that have helped you, you appreciate them. You can call 1, 2, or 3 people. Oh, I know you have been doing this, this, and this for me. You have sent me money to go and buy this at a critical point when I had nothing. And I want to appreciate you. Let's do all these things. And who wouldn't like it when you say thank you for the thing they have done? Let's come on board and celebrate our fathers in our homes and even worldwide. Anybody who has impacted your life positively, that person needs a lot of recommendation. So tomorrow, let's all come on board and make this celebration a success. I want to use this opportunity to, in advance, I wish the President of the Republic of Ghana, who is our father, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, a happy Father's Day. We thank him for resetting the whole Ghana, and as he continues, may God bless him and keep him alive and active. Also to the Volta Regional Minister, Honorable James Kunu, wish you a happy Father's Day and have a moment, a blissful moment. We know you are doing a very hard work, a great work in the Volta region. All our MMDCs that are out there, they appreciate you. And I'm staying with my one pastor, Reverend Lawrence Senya. I wish you happy Father's Day, and also Lali
Koshi I wish he's my brother. He has also been helping me so much. Oh, now I don't know. We call him anointing. He's also doing a marvelous work. All the people that have impacted our lives, God bless them all. Honorable Edwin Tamokulu, the um CEO for NP, National Petroleum Authority, and also Kabila, Jacob, a lot of people. If I want to start mentioning names, who will not live here. Honorable, my honorable from West. In fact, since I'm the West Youth MP, I can't go away without mentioning or wishing my honorable a happy Father's Day. Honorable Emmanuel Kusibajira, God bless you. You are doing the work of an MP, and your lobbying skills, they are all accurate, and we appreciate you. All the MPs, the male ones, any MPs that is out there playing the role of a father, God bless them for the support and everything they are doing. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
All right. I think, fatherhood, as we've been saying right from the beginning to where we are now, is not only the gender male that plays the father, that's the fatherly role. And so females that are also playing a fatherly role, I think, God willing, tomorrow we should all try hard as much as possible. There are orphans that people also take good care of them, and all those people shouldn't be left out. Let's all try hard in our small way. If it is a parcel, get it. If it is a message with a video that you could actually organize, and then so like something small. You see, even God created man so that we can equally be on earth to do what? To make sure we worship him. And for that matter, we need to be grateful for everything that he does for us. And so whoever is playing the role of a father in your life needs to be appreciated, God willing, tomorrow. And so happy Father's Day to every man that is out there, everyone playing the role as a father, and also every guardian that is playing a role of a father. Because myself, that I'm here, I'm a living testimony of what someone taking care of me at a certain level. And so I know how it feels, because someone not being your biological son, and you up to what to stand in to make sure you play certain responsibility without complaining. That alone is something that God should look out for and then bless you in advance. And so to all other men out there, both the fathers and the potential fathers yet to be fathers, or shout out to you, or happy Father's Day in advance. God willing, tomorrow, our mothers, let's try hard to make sure we reach out to our husbands, our boyfriends, our loved ones, wherever they are. Let's try to make tomorrow's day a very wonderful day for them, because it is not easy for a man to go out and make sure he gets the necessary stuff that will help the family keep going. And so, once again, I want to use this opportunity to thank the President of the Republic of Ghana, then to all the MPs, then from there to all the MCs, down to the assemblymen, down to the chiefs, and then to all the various teachers in all the schools that we have in Ghana. In fact, it's not easy. It's not easy. At times, you will be a teacher in a class where that child is not having a father, and you step in to be the father for the child. All those who are in that shoes too, God bless you, and God willing, tomorrow, definitely God will have his way upon your life once again. And so, on this note, I just want to once again thank the Almighty God for how far He has brought us, and then He should keep on strengthening all those men struggling out there to make life easy for their families. Because it's not all men that have actually gotten it on a silver platter, and so they actually go out there to make sure they struggle enough to make their family happy. On this note, I want to also use this to thank the regional chairman, in the person of Honorable Agbavito Mauto, yes, and also all other executives, the regional executives, and also the consistency executives that we have both in Ho and across Ghana. Thank you very much, and then we appreciate.
Thank you very much. Um, Before I also go to my concluding remarks, it is very important for us to also thank the fathers of Youth Impact Parliament or Youth Impact Movement. Those are our patrons. Luckily, Emmanuel has already thanked God, and we are all grateful to God and Allah for giving us life and making our paths a reality. Our patrons, Honorable Emmanuel Kwesi Bedra, Honorable Dr. Archibald Yaolecha, Honorable Peter Nochukotwe, Honorable Divine Bosom, Honorable His Excellency Kofi Ato, Honorable Divine, I think Honorable Emmanuel Flolu. Yes, we have Mr. Simon Avoga, and then we also have Tejura Chandulai from India, and we have also added a patron from Kenya, Honorable Babi Owiro, and then as well, one of our fathers, very close father, His Excellency Captain Fujo. Also to add, Honorable Emmanuel Kofi Richmond Kofi Totosu, who is also a father to this group. I want to thank him for the work he's doing for Whole Central. And as well, we almost forgot the Council of States representative, His Excellency Dr. Gabriel Tanko Kwamiga Atotple, for his support to the region as well. Not to forget Honorable James Gunu and all ministers from the Volta region as well. You know, Honorable Samuel Kujeto Ablakwa cannot be forgotten in this regard. Although we know Governor Abuja, Road Minister, yes, from the Volta region. We know Honorable Jifa Gumashi is a woman, but we are seeing her as a single mother for Volta. Yes, for Volta. We want to thank all of anyone contributing to fatherhood. We want to thank them all. Please, the people are a lot. We can't mention all of them all. If we want to mention, this program will end like after 5 hours. So we have to cut the list short. It does not mean if we have not mentioned, you're not important. You are very, very, very important. Amen. Tomorrow, even if no one takes you out, take yourself out. Go and enjoy yourself. Go and grab some beer. If you not grab beer, go and grab. You can take some cocktail, BB cocktail, and sip. Or if you don't like any drink, go and get some chilled water. And sip. Yes, and sip. As we conclude today's session, we just want to, as we conclude today's Father's Day special edition of the YIP Youth Talk Show, we have learned that fatherhood is not merely a title, but a responsibility. Fathers shape values, fathers inspire leadership, fathers nurture responsible citizens, fathers strengthen communities. To every father listening to us today, we celebrate your sacrifices, your guidance, your commitment, and your love. To all young men, remember that responsible fatherhood begins long before you become a father, biologically. It starts with character, discipline, integrity, and leadership. We wish to thank our panelists, Mark, Charles, and Emmanuel. And as well, we want to thank our collaborator, Stone City FM, for hosting us. And thank you to all our listeners, both now and in the future, who will watch the proceedings and the videos. And as well, to remind you, tomorrow Youth Impact Parliament will be sitting to pass the YIP Campus Club Bill. And this has been the YIP Youth Talk Show Season 2 Father's Day Special. My name is Jones Amegashiviglo, President of the Senate Youth Impact Parliament, First Senate. Have a wonderful Father's Day celebration and continue to impact lives positively. God bless you. God bless our fathers. God bless Youth Impact Parliament. God bless Ghana and God bless Africa. Thank
You
you.
write in the book that kids can learn a great deal through that, and boys in particular can learn a fair bit about how to set boundaries for themselves, how to delay gratification, how to be responsible when it comes to setting their own boundaries later in life. And that's relevant in the context of what we've seen with some of these horrendous shootings and so forth in this country.
Absolutely. Almost always the boys that do these mass shootings that end up in prison, that end up joining ISIS, they're usually males. They're usually boys that have minimal or no father involvement. And so their heart doesn't have that feeling of love by fathers, and they don't have their testosterone channeled by a male toward a good purpose. And so they feel they feel like they have a hole in their heart oftentimes. But there's also something else going on that's much more practical. I was talking about roughhousing before, and a lot of people say, oh, the example that I gave with roughhousing has to do with a lot with boundary enforcement. The father saying, no, there will be no more roughhousing unless you think of your sister's needs, unless you understand the difference between that push, which was aggressive, versus a softer push, which is leverage and assertive. That's okay. And it comes from experiences like that. But I find a lot of people get confused with the term boundary enforcement versus boundary setting. So moms are often very good at boundary setting. They'll say your bedtime needs to be 9 o'clock. Dads tend to be more likely to do the boundary enforcement in a tougher type of way. They'll say your bedtime is 9:30. And so it is statistically true that dads, when they're parenting, set bedtimes that are later than mom's bedtimes. But it's also statistically true that the children with dads get to bed sooner than they do with the
Is that
children with
right?
moms. Yes, exactly.
Really?
And one of the differences between boundary setting versus boundary enforcement. So dads will be more likely to say, okay, your bedtime is, let's say, 9:30, but you have to have your homework and everything else done. And if you get everything done, the chores, et cetera, done and done well, we can have the time before 9:30 can be your time, and I'll do anything you want, including roughhousing. Mother's going, you must be kidding. You're not going to roughhouse before bedtime. And the dad will say, just let me handle it. But when dads do handle it, they find that the children focus on getting everything done. And then they usually do, the first few times they do sloppy homework just to get it done quickly. Then the father says, you do sloppy homework again. Then there'll be no free time at all. And then the child eventually learns to do the homework well, to brush the teeth well, do all the things that their responsibilities well, and still have enough time left over before that 9:30 time. And then, whereas with the mother, the child will learn more frequently to just put things off a little bit, and then it comes to be 9 o'clock, the bedtime that mama set, and the child goes, well, I didn't finish my homework yet. And mom goes, oh, well, I don't want him to go in without the homework being done, so let's work on that homework. Well, mom, I did the homework. Now can I have a story? And then it becomes 9:45 or 10 o'clock. And so that gives you a little bit of an example of that. But let me give a clear example of boundary setting versus boundary enforcement. Moms and dads, by the way, all of these things are reversed with some parents. Some dads are like moms and some moms are like dads. But dads and moms will both tend to say, sweetie, you can't have your ice cream until you finish your peas. And so that's the boundary setting. And the children, of course, will do the boundary testing, have as few peas as possible before they get their ice cream, of course. And the difference is in the boundary enforcement. With moms, the child will be likely to say something like, Mom, I got bullied again in school today. I feel really badly. Could maybe I have my ice cream sooner? And mom will think to herself, I don't want to get into a huge fight over a few peas when it's been a bad day. So, okay, sweetie, I'll tell you what. have this, maybe 20 more peas, and she'll take a knife and set aside those 20 peas. And then the child will realize unconsciously, I can manipulate a better deal here with appealing to mom's certain sensitivities, whatever they are, and then try to have 10 peas. And then mom will go, hey, all right, you had the 10 peas, at least you tried. Okay, you can have your ice cream now. Dad is more likely to say, excuse me, we had a deal here. The deal here is you can't have your ice cream until you finish your peas. Oh, Dad, you're so mean. Mom doesn't do this. Well, this is my rules. And if you continue whining and complaining, there'll be no more ice cream tomorrow night either. And then the child goes, oh, shoot, with Dad, I've got to actually finish my ice cream. Finish my peas before I get my ice cream. And so the child with Dad learns, and this is all unconscious, learns that I have to focus on doing what I need to do in order to finish the peas, in order to get what I want to have, the ice cream. The child is learning postponed gratification. We'll get to postponed gratification in a minute, but just to say at the outset, it is the single biggest predictor of being successful or a failure, being able to have postponed gratification. In this electronic age, that prediction is probably much greater than it used to be, because you're constantly being tempted to be sidetracked by the newest text or the newest invitation for a video game, etc. And so the child that has that postponed gratification is much less likely to have ADHD. So children raised predominantly by dads, only 15% have ADHD in the United States. Children raised predominantly by moms, 30% have ADHD. Because if you look at that example, you can see that the child with the mom is learning not to finish, not to put its attention on what it needs to do, but it's learning to put its attention on how to manipulate a better deal so it doesn't need to do what it needs to do to get what it wants, the ice cream. Whereas with Dad, the child has no choice but to focus on what she or he needs to do, finish the peas in order to get the ice cream. So you take that postponed gratification to school, and here's what happens. The child with the postponed gratification can finish their homework. The child with the postponed gratification may be a tall, good-looking, athletic child, but goes to school, and if he does not have postponed gratification, he can't do the drills that are necessary to be the best basketball player. So mom, or a musician or actor. And so mom may discover, typically moms are very sensitive to children's potential and children's dreams. And they may encourage the boy to, sweetie, you have a wonderful singing voice. Why don't you practice and be a good singer? And the child will go to practice, get maybe a tutor, but won't practice often enough to be one of the best. So she or he doesn't make the basketball team, doesn't make the skiing team or whatever, doesn't make the finalists for the play, and feels badly about himself. And here's the trick. Mom has encouraged the child to dream and pursue his dreams. That is wonderful. But when the child doesn't also have the discipline to pursue his or her dreams, she or he fails. And when the child continues to pursue dream after dream and fail time after time, after a while, the child becomes ashamed of himself or herself and becomes afraid to dream. And that's when a child begins to withdraw, feeling ashamed that every time she or he tries out, they're just the laughingstock because they always fail.
Yes, what you've just said is in the book, of course, and I found it remarkable that your research shows that perhaps we just haven't appreciated how solid many dads' instincts are when it comes to their contribution. I noticed with our kids, they look to mum from a very early age for warmth and nurture. It seemed, me for play and stimulation, all are necessary. But one of the things to draw out of this, I think, is that it would be good. There's a lot of support for women. There's a lot of ways in which they can go out and learn about their role, what the kids need from them. Governments even are in it.
Yes.
But we don't do the same. As you say, I was unaware of quite a bit of this research until I read the book.
Yes, absolutely. I'm working now with the White House, and one of the things I'm suggesting to them is to create, if you want to make America great again, you make the American family great again. And if you want to make the American family great again, you don't focus on no child left behind until you understand that a child will be left behind if you leave a parent behind. And so trying to create a program called No Parent Left Behind. But that means having to make sure that that males are trained well to be good fathers. So we're suggesting the creation of a father warrior program, because in the old days, boys' sense of purpose came from being warriors. But today, with a need for fewer boys in war, oftentimes boys have a purpose void. And when boys have a purpose void plus a dad void, that's when they often become destructive. And so I'm suggesting now that there be a father warrior program to begin to train boys to be involved with the family at a very early age, to know how to feed their sister when their sister is very young, or their brother when their brother is very young, to know how to babysit, to know how to communicate. I'm suggesting that in all elementary schools, there be one of the core curriculum that's required every year is communication skills training, so that boys don't bully other boys, so that boys can listen to girls, so that girls can listen to boys, so we know how to listen to each other and overcome those natural propensities just to be me, me, me. And the more the culture becomes me, 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 the more communication skills is important. So I'm looking at communication skills training in elementary schools, but also among try to up to scale what I do around the country with communication skills training for couples, and saying you can have children trained to be good communicators and not to become undefensive to personal criticism, and then learn that at school, if they go home and they see their mother and father arguing defensively, they'll lose respect for their mother and father, and therefore the family will be destabilized in a different way. So you have to have good communication skills from parents, good communication skills from children, and then you have to have things like family dinner nights, so that mothers and fathers learn how to conduct a family dinner night, so it does not become a family dinner nightmare.